this EFL and Euro Qualifier Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN Free Roll Football Contest. Join our free season-long pick'em for a chance to win $3,000 and a Super Bowl autographed SGP helmet. Sign-up link is in the SGPN app. We're brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and use the code SGPN. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em in college or NFL. Win up to 20x in one game. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And we're brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, September the 6th, possibly. Who knows? And we have got, there's no Premier League. It's international break, which, as everybody knows, is famously the most boring time in the entire calendar. But Megan Basley here to fix that for you, because we've got EFL, we've got League One and League Two action at the weekend, and there's Euro 2024 qualifiers. Joining me to pick through it is the late Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz. How are you doing?
Late?
Yes, late.
Well, I told you I'd be late, so therefore I'm on time.
Why are you late, Baz?
I told you 6 hours ago I was going to be late. I've been drinking wine, Malcolm.
That's not an excuse to be late, I don't think.
I've been to Wine Circle tonight. Wine Club.
Kiddo, you've changed, Baz.
What do you want to know about Wine Club?
Well, I'm not sure I do, because it makes my teeth itch a bit. But you tell me, what do you want to tell me about Wine Club, Baz?
The first rule of Wine Club, we don't talk about Wine Club, innit?
Right, what happened at Wine Club tonight? What were you doing? Were you doing a little South African Shiraz? Were you heading up the Napa Valley? I mean, what was going on?
Oh, we've been all over tonight. So it's a club. There's about 15 of us in a bar and bring our own wines to try. I don't take anything. So occasionally some people bring like a theme. So someone might present for a night and it might do South American wines or whatever. They'll have a theme. The other week it was about cricket, so there was a lot of Australian, English stuff like that. Tonight was a blind tasting, so about 8 or 9 different people brought a different wine or a couple of bottles of a different wine, and we had to taste it blind and then see where we go from there. So we've been all over. We've had some French, Portuguese, South American, Australian. I made a debut tonight. First one, a Canadian red. Have you ever had a Canadian wine? Not don't hear Canadian red. We have a few Canadian listeners. So yeah, I think it was a Baco Noir from Ontario. It was very nice actually. But yeah, a few different wines. Well. But it's a bit of it's a once a month thing through work. There's about, to be honest, I'm the youngest there by about 20 years. It's mostly retired people from where I work. Most of them are like 60 to 70, proper wine critics, and I'm just there for a
sloshed.
To be honest, it's a good night. You pay 20 quid, you get 9 different wines in a buffet, and you get to try some different stuff every time. You know what I mean?
Sounds all right.
I enjoy it.
Do you all keep your clothes on?
All of that, yeah. No keys in a bowl or anything like that.
Oh, I just established it. It sounds mainly awful, that's all. Anyway, good, Baz. That well explained. I enjoyed that. Good bit of on the hoof lifestyle. Slick Rick and Josh are here. Hello, boys. How we doing? I thought it might be a bit of a slow burner tonight because we've got no Premier League to talk about, Baz. I've got, Baz. Well, I've got 2 tits possibly for the tit list. Now,
oh, nice. That's good.
The only problem I've got, I don't think you'll go for it, Baz, because the first one is quite not serious. Is it serious? It's quite serious. And we go to great lengths, Baz, to avoid talking about anything serious. both on the show.
Greenwood, let's just get him on there.
No, it's not him. No, it's not that serious. It's Jordan Henderson.
He's a tit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, well, that's not in dispute, I don't think. It's just whether or not should we be bothered. Like, I mean, because then you go down you end up talking about Mason Greenwood and stuff like that. So where do we draw the line in terms of the seriousness? Because I didn't actually mind him going. Like, he's got every right to go. However, having represented how he's represented other communities and minorities and etc. in the past, to then just blatantly lie about it and he's like taking everyone for mugs and completely, it's bollocks. That entire interview was bollocks. And that's what's got him on the tit list for me.
I agree. The whole point that he says money never came into it. It just makes no sense because it's why didn't he go to Brentford or Brighton and he said, if I wanted to stay in Europe, I wanted to be at the very top level. That's bollocks because he could have probably stayed at the top level in England, in a different European country. He's went to Saudi Arabia, for God's sake, and for no reason other than money. There's no point. Don't bullshit anyone. People would have more respect for you if you just said, have you seen how much I'm getting paid? You know what I mean? We know that's what players are going for. Mitrovic hasn't gone there for the quality of the football. He's gone there because he's getting double, treble his wages or whatever. Just absolutely stupid. Just don't talk crap.
And to say that he thinks he can be a force for good while he's there by changing people's minds and stuff. But also, he says he's fully prepared to respect the religion and beliefs of those people. And one of the things, famously, you can't be a dissident from the inside. Like, that's not how being a dissident works. So, Slick made an excellent point, and he's hit the nail on the head for me. He's clearly a tit. However, the tit list is quite a light-hearted list, Baz. It's not for horrendous criminals and that. So, is this a light-hearted topic? And I think this is the discussion now. Is Henderson a light-hearted enough topic to go on the tit list?
It's not necessarily the topic that's got him there. It's just him.
Yeah.
Trying to justify it. I think we're scraping the barrel for tits at the moment. So get him on, and
he's going on now. This is him going on.
Eventually, he'll find his way off.
He might do, yeah.
But you're right. I agree. We don't stick Mason Greenwood on there because he's worse than a tit. I'm going to talk about Greenwood just for a second, Malcolm. Have you? The whole fanfare at Getafe, welcoming him with fireworks and waving flags and a stand full of people to welcome Mason Greenwood. It's just absolutely grim. I hate it. The bloke shouldn't be kicking a football. I don't want to talk about phrases because it's not that kind of show. But I saw that and just thought, man, have some humility.
It's horrendous. The worst thing about this, Baz, the most mind-blowing thing about this, Getafe were one of the very first clubs to complain about Rubiales holding the lips on that Spanish woman after the World Cup.
That was going to be my next point. All of the outrage in Spain.
Where's your moral compass here? So he's held the lips on her and you're up in arms. Mason Greenwood were fully aware, everyone sign him, roll out the bleeding red carpet for him. Like, what's the situation?
Absolutely disgusting. I can't stand it. And what makes it worse is all the publicity it's getting. Journalists should just ignore it, but not report it and not put it all over Twitter. But they will because it gets clicks and all of that sort of stuff. But hate that.
The second person didn't actually do anything different to what they've always done, Baz, this week. But it came onto my radar. It was funny making Bob sat for about 10 minutes and watched Mark Goldbridge get annoyed at the Man United game at the weekend. So he hasn't actually done anything especially different. He's just done the same shit. But I still don't know if he's under a totting up procedure. Is he allowed on the tit list? Like when Joe Linton's for the 5th time he's got someone in a headlock, he gets a yellow card. Is Mark Goldbridge in a similar vein here? Is it the totting up thing?
Mark Goldbridge is a constant tit, but I'm not sure how many of our listeners will even know who Mark Goldbridge is. He's just a Man United YouTuber, isn't he? Who is a complete tit. There's no doubt about it. But given that the majority of our listeners are over in America, whether they'll know who Mark Goldbridge is, I don't know. Again, I'm okay with him going on there. It might make some of our listeners go out and search out some of his stuff. Basically, just look at Man United games where they've gone behind 2-0 against Forest and see his reactions as they go 2-0 down and stuff like that. He's a proper.
The only reason I might not put him in is there's a begrudging admiration, just in case he's having everyone's pants down, because he's just a Man United fan who doesn't actually care. Sorry, he's a Nottingham Forest fan who doesn't actually give a shit. And he sits there and Man United fans are throwing money at him. So there might be, he might be doing it better than everyone.
He's not a proper Man United fan, was he? He's come out of it. He's made a YouTube channel that is massively popular. Fair play to him. What annoys me most about him is they've now put him on Talk Sport.
Yeah,
prime time Saturday night, like 7 o'clock Saturday night. I'm sometimes in the bath and I turn Talk Sport on whenever I go in the bath. And if he's on, I just think I don't need to listen to it. It's crap. Absolute crap. So yeah, let's get him on there. Let's start.
Well, Slick Rick's kind of got the casted vote again there. He said he's happy to see regular tits. So, Mark Goldbridge, I put in brackets regular tittery. So he's got that. That's his offence, really. So it now stands at Mike Dean, Jordan Henderson, and Mark Goldbridge.
You said about the limit was about 10. I think 6 would be enough.
6.
Yeah, because then we've got decisions as to who comes off for someone to get on. Yeah. So I think we cap it at 6.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
We'll cap it. We'll crack on with that. Yeah. Tits. 3 of them.
3 tits. Serial's asking for national food trivia. Did we have national food trivia last time then? Is that why Serial's asking? I can't remember that.
Did you not talk about courgettes and zucchini?
Well, and regularly. Like not recently though. I thought he was on about the last thing. Like
Josh has got me confused because he's asking if Young Kipper is on the tit list. I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Young Kipper is, and I don't know who Jonathan Morley is as well.
Jonathan Morley rings a bell.
It might be more YouTubers. I'm not that down.
Could be, yeah. That's how much stupid bloody Twitter feed that I say all this shit on, that you've cultivated all of this, Baz, ruined my life. So Premier League break, which is traditionally awful. Now, EFL and Euro qualifiers, and when we've done these shows, Baz, in the past, I have absolutely stunk the place out. So I didn't enjoy sitting down and doing this afternoon. I haven't got a good record. I'd rather really, really try hard. I was like, come on, fucking hell, just like, let go 3-3. Do you know what I mean? If I come out of this 20 quid down over the weekend, I'll be over the moon. Like, but I've got 3 Euro qualifier picks and I've got 3 EFL picks. You've done a bit, but I mean, our World Cup was all right. It's just been the international bits in between. You've had a couple of good EFL shows though when we've done them, Baz. So are you confident here?
I mean, I went into it thinking, not feeling it, but then as I found my picks, I like them, and as you say, I mean, the first show we did this season was an EFL one, and I had an absolute flyer. I picked a couple of great underdogs. So yeah, I like the picks I've got. I think I've got 4 EFL picks and 2 for the internationals, and a couple that are one that I really like in the internationals. Nice underdog. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Serial's just.
I do like the international break. You know what it is? Sunday finished, and then I just switch off. Like for 3 days, I haven't thought about football at all. And there would have been stuff going on Monday. So I'd seen something in the Discord. I popped in the Discord and they were talking about the game Monday night. I think it was Cambridge against someone. And I was oblivious to it because once the Premier League finishes before international break, I just think, oh, that's it. I can just forget about that. Forget about my fantasy football. Forget about all the Premier League stuff. But yeah, by the time Saturday comes around, I'll be ready to have a go again. Or Thursday, because there's some international stuff tomorrow.
It was Eswatini that were Serials on about when we talked. When I tipped them up last time, and you went and searched what their national dish was, which was something to do with goats and rice generally, wasn't it? Or some sort of oatmeal-based porridge, or I don't know. Right, picks starting a minute. Captain Sano, how you doing? DraftKings. I've got an NFL pick for the end of the show, Baz. That's exciting. 7 months out, NFL stops tomorrow. We're out about 28 hours away from the first game of the season. I need to tell you something else, actually, Baz, but I'll do this ad read professionally. DraftKings Sportsbook here, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Can't miss offer for week 1. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any game. DraftKings are hooking everyone up with game day greatness all year. We've got 2 new offers every single game day this September. So check the app and see what you get. Download now. Use the code SGP to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That code SGP only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook with details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Game time, we're back as well. Game time here for buying tickets, making it much easier. I heard Sean on the mothership the other day saying he was buying a load of tickets for the Rams-Eagles games at SoFi coming up soon. And he'd use game time to get there, and fast and easy for anything, sport, music, comedy, any theatre. Last-minute tickets, best price guarantee. The game time guarantee is outstanding from them. Makes you get credited 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. So you can spend far less time buying the tickets and just more time looking forward to the event. The thing to do is download the game time app, create an account, use the code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code SGPN for $20 off. Download game time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The other thing I need to point out, Baz, 1 year ago today, I was on that flight out to Vegas for week 1 NFL with the boys. The epic 28-hour journey that ended with me hitchhiking a lift with 3 random Danish kids from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And I just thought, I was just sad today when I heard Sean and Ryan going out there, putting on their first DFS lineups, telling everyone they were going to be at, I can't even remember where we watched the games on. There's something, the Superbook somewhere, where they watch the games on the Sunday and all of that shit going on, Baz. And it made me a bit sad. I think we need to make that our mission to be out there this time next year, Barry. We'll be millionaires, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. It is something that needs to be planned well in advance, but it would definitely be good to get out.
We're doing it now. We're setting the market down. What we need to do, Baz, here is pick 6 winners each, right? And then it's time to go. Do you want to start international or EFL?
EFL.
EFL. Do you want to go first or second?
Do you want to
even have the same games?
I can go internationals if you want. I don't mind.
No, I don't care. EFL page open.
Yeah, let's go EFL. League One. Have you got anything in League One?
Yes.
There's only 2 games, so I'm going
to. There's only 2 games. I've got my pick is in the Exeter and Orient game, Barry.
Well, I've got one in there because I've got one in both. So,
have you? Right, you go first, and you know what you're talking about. I'll back you up.
So, Exeter, top of the league, 13 points from 6 games. They've won 4, lost 1, drawn 1. Failed to score in the draw or the defeat that they've had, but in their 4 victories so far, they've scored 8 goals and scored over 1.5 in 3 of those 4 victories. Obviously, their total goals of 8 in 6 games doesn't look great. But when they've won the game, they've scored well. They've scored 2 goals on 3 of those 4 occasions. They're unbeaten at home in the last 4 games, including cup games so far. We've then got Leyton Orient, who are right at the other end of the table, down in 20th, 4 points. They've got 4 defeats in their opening 6 games. They've conceded 11 in the 4 defeats that they've had. Their only win was a 2-0 home win against Cambridge, and they've not won away from home in any game since April now. I fancy Exeter here. They're a little bit of a short price at 3-4 on the money line, but so I feel more inclined to take Exeter team total. I fancy Exeter score 2 or more at 5-6, minus 120. So that's the pick for me on this one. I fancy there to be goals, despite the fact that Exeter haven't been scoring loads. Leyton Orient are struggling, and particularly on the road, they're struggling. So yeah, the pick for me is Exeter to score 2 or more against Leyton Orient at 5-6, minus 120.
I've got pretty much the same handicap, Barry, but I'm playing with scared money here because I know I'm not very good. So my pick was Exeter win at 3-4.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think Exeter
minus 133. It's not a terrible price. You know what I mean? It's probably the limit of what we go to. We might hit the odd 4-6 shot, but that's about it. But yeah, they've won 4 of 6, 3 in a row. They've won, kept 4 clean sheets. And Orient just not scoring many goals. They were a pre-season favourite for relegation, Orient. And a massive red flag. It was a 3-0 home loss to Stevenage on Saturday. That's an awful result. So I just kept it really, really simple, especially because I'm not being great at these bars. I didn't want to start complicating stuff. Keep it simple. 3-4 Exeter City to win. And you've got another League One pick because I haven't.
Yes, we're going to Stevenage v Carlisle. Stevenage sitting third, or joint top if you just look at points. They're on 13 points as well, same as Exeter. They're only lower down due to goal difference. Carlisle, meanwhile, are sitting in 19th on 5 points. So in terms of current form and current positions, this matchup is almost identical to Exeter v Leyton Orient. You've got a team right at the top against a team right down at the bottom. But whilst I fancied Exeter to get the goals in that one, I think this one's going to be a much tighter affair. And it's due to the Carlisle form line. Carlisle are struggling, but they aren't getting hammered by anyone. In fact, 6 league games so far for Carlisle have all gone under 2.5. You add in their 2 cup games in the EFL Cup, and it's 8 games from 8 have gone under 2.5 goals. You have to go back to April for the last time a Carlisle game went over 2.5 goals. So what price do you think you get for under 2.5, Malcolm? I think it's going to be short, don't you?
4 to 6, yeah.
Yes, it's 17 to 20. I mean, obviously, these sort of runs of form don't last forever. But when a team is in a streak like that, where they're keeping the score down, whether they're winning or losing, it's 1-0s, 0-0s, 1-1s, 1-0s, either way. And I'm getting close to evens for under 2.5. I think you just got to go with it because on that current form, I would have expected it to be a lot shorter. So the price is 17 to 20. That's a pick. Under 2.5 goals. Stevenage v Carlisle at 17 to 20. If you want to work that out in American money, Malcolm, that would be could be about minus 115, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. The only thing I know about Carlisle, or I can add to this discussion, is that I followed the Carlisle United team bus out of Brunton Park car park yesterday. It was followed by a little minibus, or rather a van, actually, a branded up Carlisle United van. So I don't know where they were going, because it was a bit early to be heading out to Stevenage, so whether or not it was the Stiffs or something like that. Minus 117, Bas, is the answer. So yeah, that's all I can add. I've been across that road. I went to Cockermouth today, Bas. That's a funny place name, isn't it? Yeah, everyone enjoys that. Okay, so League Two is a full programme. They're the only League One games, actually, but we've got a full programme of League Two action. I'm going to start, Baz, with a handicap. There's about 5 different ways. Gillingham against Harrogate Town. Have you got this game?
Nope.
Yes. Gillingham are 4 to 5, draws 5 to 2. Harrogate are 7 to 2. Gillingham are third in the league, a surprise third, actually. And if you look at get the game log up, it's really it stands out to me. They've had 4 1-0 wins, and they've had a 3-0 home defeat to Colchester and 2-0 to Grimsby. So they just don't score any goals at all. Like I say, they're sitting on 12 points with 4 1-0 victories. Harrogate, in their 6 games, they've only seen both teams to score once as well. And their form line is poor. They've got a striker, Luke Armstrong. Luke Armstrong's quite a well-known name around these parts. He was at Gateshead a little while. I think he might have gone Darling to Gateshead. Has progressed through the ranks, ended up at Harrogate Town. He's got to Wrexham this week, or Wrexham tried to sign him. They might have missed the deadline, but because of international clearance, because he has to go across the border to Wales, they can kind of try and fudge it a little bit. So that Wrexham still think they've signed Luke Armstrong. Anyway, I don't think he's not going to be playing for Harrogate here. And he's their big goal threat. So again, this is another short price pass. I was chalky, but like I say, I'm playing with scared money. Both teams, it was either under 2.5 or the no on the both teams to score market. Because both teams are just playing really dour encounters. Both teams to score no is 13 to 18, which is minus 138. So it's even shorter than my minus 133 pick, Baz. But like I say, I'm just trying to get out of this weekend alive. What have you got?
So the first one for me, I've got 2 picks in League Two. First one, got to go to the top of the table clash between Notts County local to me, and MK Dons. County top of the league, 13 points, 12 goals scored, 10 goals conceded. And MK Dons sitting in second, 12 points, 13 scored and 11 conceded. So both played 6 games so far. That's a total of 46 goals in the 12 games these two sides have participated in. So goals galore. County are in great form. They got off to a bad start with that 5-1 thrashing against Sutton. In fairness, they went down to 10 men after 15 minutes in that one, and that all unravelled quite quickly. Since then, 4 wins, 1 draw. Really, really good form. They've scored at least 2 goals in 4 out of those last 5. If you include the cup games, 7 games in total, they've only kept 1 clean sheet. So they're not keeping them out at the other end. And it's a very similar story for MK Dons. They're in great form. But for them, it's 8 competitive games and only 1 clean sheet for them as well. So it's a game where goals just looks an obvious pick because neither can defend. And they're 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league. I think Wrexham and Swindon are the other 2 who've outscored them. But over 3.5 has hit in 4 out of 8 games for MK Dons. And for County, it's 4 out of 7. Or if you look solely at the league games, over 3.5 is hitting 4 out of 6 Notts County league games so far this year. And it's a good plus money price. It's over 3.5 goals here. It's 6-4 plus 150. So that's a pick here. League 2, Notts County and MK Dons over 3.5 goals. 6-4, price plus 150.
That was the game that you're instantly drawn to, Baz. Like if we said, we sometimes say on the Premier Show, this is the game of the week. And if you were looking at one in this division, then that was the one. Milton Keynes and Notts County, just because they've both been involved in fun, high-scoring games. So I saw that game. I couldn't work it out. Left that to you. However, you mentioned one of the teams that I did work out, Baz, and that's Swindon Town. Swindon Town take on Sutton United. 3 o'clock on Saturday. Swindon 9-10, minus 111. Draw 5-2. Sutton 3-1. Swindon are unbeaten, 1-2, drawn 3 in the 5 games, but they've scored 15 goals, including a 5-5 draw at Wrexham. And in their last home game, they beat Crawley Town 6-0. Now, Sutton are really bad. Won first day up, first day of the season. They've now lost 5 in a row. In their only 2 away games this year, they've conceded 2 at Barrow and 3 at Newport. So you've got a team who are getting beat and conceding away against a team who banged in 5 and 6 recently. You've got 2 options here for me, Baz. Swindon to win the game at 9-10 I think, is a great bet. Or you've got the team total for Swindon over 1.5 goals. It's 4-5. That's not a big price. Like that's a great price, isn't it? 4-5 at minus 120. And if you want to go up the ladder, over 2.5 goals, Baz, it's 11-4 plus 375. Swindon can rack up 3 or 4 here, no problem. What are you giggling at?
You're right. You've just read my notes, Malcolm.
Shit. Sorry, did I get you?
No, absolutely fine. I've got exactly the same game for exactly the same reasons. Got the highest scoring team in the division, despite the fact they've played a game less than everybody else. They've played 5 and most teams have played 6. So 15-5. They're unbeaten in 5. And Sutton, just that 1 win that they name. And as I say, that 1 win was against 10 men Notts County for the vast majority of the game. And I think the Swindon price, I've seen 10-11 for Swindon, minus 110, I think is an absolutely great price.
Yeah.
But I've went the same way. Well, I've said I'll take Swindon on the money line, but I like it as a goal ladder. So you've literally nailed everything because exactly where I went after that was 2 or more, 4-5. Swindon to score 3 or more at 11-4, I think looks brilliant. Plus 275. And I've got 4 or more priced up at 8-1, 5 or more 20-1, 6 or more 50-1. You've got to go all the way up, and you know, a couple of quid on the 6 or more and the 5 or more just to keep going. As you say, they're a team who've scored 6 and they've scored 5 already, and we're only 5 games into the season. And Sutton are awful. But I think you want to play it simple. Swindon on the money line looks an absolute great price, I think. But yeah, I'll be playing the ladder because I felt like I don't think I've put a decent ladder out yet this season, and I felt this was definitely one that's got potential. I think Swindon get 3, and if you get to 3 at 11-4 plus 275, you're laughing. And who knows, we might get a little bit higher up there. But yeah, I love it. Love that one.
Oh, good. I've learned from you there, Baz. Did you have any more, or was that you done?
That's me done for the EFL.
EFL, okay. We'll have a look at the Euro qualifying stuff. I'll tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Great way to play alongside your favourite football team all season long. That's the fantasy picking game. If you pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, and then just do what we all do every Sunday, watch the games. Win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. The underdog picking we like at the weekend is your man Luke Musgrave, cheap tight end for the Green Bay Packers. He's going to do all sorts of stuff at the weekend, so there's your man. Watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit to $100. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And the free roll football contest, which is a free season-long NFL pick'em contest, $1,000 for the winner, $500 for second place. If you're in the Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, the NFL season, the prizes are double bubble, $2,000 and $1,000. If the Patreon member wins the free roll, they'll get the autographed full-size Sports Gambling Podcast helmet. Include guests like Joe Theismann, Bill Romanovsky, Pac-Man Jones, John Sally, Eric Metcalf, and LeGarrette Blunt. Sign-up link is in the SGPN app. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get in for your chance to win double your prizes and win the weekly Patreon pick'ems. Have your children started new schools this week, Baz, or are they the same old ones?
Same old school.
No new school excitement. Bob went off to big school today for the first time. And he looked quite ridiculous in his uniform. He looked like he was going to a Halloween party. Like, it looked like we dressed up like as the Blues Brothers, or so sometimes people dress up as the Red Zone man on Halloween in America, just with his giant box suit, square shoulders, sort of square, hanging down a foot beyond his arms. His shoes, I could have slept in one of his shoes. They're massive. Like, you'd go into them when he's 28. So, yeah, we tried to get a photo of him this morning. So he looks ridiculous. And then his little face doesn't look very happy. But happy to report he came back all smiles. So, yeah, he's still alive after day one. Right, international football, Barry. Euro qualifiers. We're round about a third of the way through. It's a bit weird, actually. There's some teams have kind of played half their games, and other teams have only played a couple. I think that's probably got to do with the Nations League finals, maybe. Teams played qualifiers when there was Nations League games going on. So there's a few playing catch-up. And what I tried to do here, Baz, was really look for teams with a lot to play for. Sort of teams that are going to be hungry coming to this. Teams that have got a chance of getting there and putting some distance between themselves.
Speaking of teams that are hungry, Malcolm, can I go first?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've got a team that's hungry.
Is it hungry?
It's hungry.
Kid Baz, we're hilarious.
Have you got the Serbia v Hungary game?
No, I haven't touched that, mate.
I've got it. So I just didn't want you beating me to this one. I love it. I absolutely love it. You've got Serbia
v Thursday, isn't it? So this is Thursday.
Yes.
These games are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then there'll be another round of the same teams will all play different matches Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it gets back to normal. So yeah, this is
quick to get on this one.
Serbia, Hungary's Thursday night, 7:45, 2:45 Eastern kickoff. Take it away, Baz.
Yeah, Serbia 7-10, Hungary 4-1, the draw 13-5. They've both started this group with 2 wins and a draw. They've both scored 5 goals in their 3 games so far. Serbia have conceded 1, Hungary have conceded none. So barely anything to split them. They've both played the same 3 opponents at this stage. Serbia drew v Bulgaria and beat the other 2, and Hungary drew against Montenegro and beat the other 2. So both on 5 points. Both on 7 points, both scored 5 goals. Nothing between them there. Head-to-head record. Last 3 games. Serbia won 1-0. 1-1 draw. Hungary won 1-0. So low scoring, tight, nothing between them. 1 win each and a draw. Can't split them. I just think I mean, Serbia are favourites now. They're the home side, so that's fine. You understand that. But in those recent head-to-heads, Serbia won away to Hungary, and Hungary won away to Serbia. Hungary are currently unbeaten in 4 away games, and that includes a 1-0 win against Germany and a 4-0 away win against England. They finished ahead of both Germany and England in the Nations League, so they're a good side, and they're more than capable of producing big results against other good sides, as they've shown recently. Hungary at 4-1 as an underdog pick against Serbia, I think is great value. History tells us it'll be a close game, it'll be a tight game, and one team will edge it by the odd goal probably. But give me odds on Serbia or 4-1 Hungary, when everything points to this being a really, really close matchup, I think Hungary are great. So I've gone for Hungary to beat Serbia at 4-1.
Yeah, love it, Baz. Absolutely love it. Hungary were outstanding in that qualifying tournament. They've got some good players. I mean, Szoboszlai obviously had a really good start to his Premier League career, and there are a couple of big lads up top. Shalai, they've both got similar names as a Sholov and his Shalai, kind of those two fellas, who've got goals amongst them. Serbia, they're a little bit like Croatia in that they've just got the same names that have been on the team sheet forever. And yeah, they're capable. Mitrovic is obviously the star man. They've got Vlahovic, Dusan Tadic, players like that. It's definitely an at the prices thing.
Absolutely. Serbia win this 1-0. There's no big shock there. But I'd much rather have a punt on Hungary at the price, 4-1. I love it.
Yeah, it almost looks kind of double where it should be. Like if they were 9-4 or something, I think, that's reasonable. Nice, Baz. Baz leads off with it. That might be the arse sniffer of the week, Baz, you fetched out. I've gone a bit closer to home, Barry. I've taken our friends from about 60 miles up the road there, the Sweaty Socks. I've taken Scotland. I've got the Cyprus against Scotland, which is on Friday night, 2:45 kickoff, 2:45 Eastern time. For the match, Cyprus are 10-1. The draw is 4-1. Scotland around about 1-4, minus 400, something like that. Just talking about hungry teams, though, in Scotland, I initially wrote down found themselves in a really good position, but they haven't found themselves there. They've got themselves there. Need to give them a bit more credit. They've put themselves in a really good position at the top of this group. They've won 4 out of 4. And the key to all of this has been a 2-0 home win over Spain. If you remember, I don't think the weather was great. I think it rained quite a bit. And I think Spain wins like hell. Was it Busquets came out and moaned that Scotland just didn't play fair and he didn't like it. But the key's been so that they've had 3 home wins so far out of 4, but great win over Spain. The away win was in Norway, who aren't a bad side at all. So it's not like they've gone and turned over like San Marino and Liechtenstein and teams like that. Cyprus, the opposition, are just a poor side. They've played 3, lost 3, Baz. Scotland beat them 3-0 at Hampden Park in March. And like I say, this is a huge opportunity for Scotland. They'll be absolutely fully focused. They've got some good players playing well. We know Robertson. Billy Gilmore's been running the show in the Premier League at the minute. I'm sure he'll start. Scotland on the handicap is just about even money. It's minus 102, Baz. Scotland minus 1.5. Cyprus don't score. Scotland will beat them 2 or 3-0. I'll take that even money shot, Baz.
Not bad. I've went even closer to home, Malcolm. I've gone for England. I felt like I had to make a pick on the England game as we've got Harry Kane on the artwork for this episode. So
yeah, fair enough.
Feels like a little bit deceptive if we put Harry Kane there and then don't mention the England game. So that's where I've gone. I've been forced there. England maximum points from the 4 games so far, scored 15 and conceded just once in the game v Italy. The 2 have already faced each other. Ukraine were defeated 2-0 against England in the last one. Ukraine have beaten Malta and North Macedonia since then, both by just a single goal. So they're not exactly blown away as any of the lesser teams. I'm just not that sold on Ukraine. I don't know why they've sort of been billed as a bigger side than they are these days, I think. Because they do have
it's name recognition, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, the likes of Mudryk, Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, Mikalenko from Everton and stuff. But I've just never been that blown away. I mean, Scotland put them out of the World Cup qualification, didn't they? Quite easily in the end. England seem to have found their way after they had that terrible Nations League campaign, but they're now unbeaten in 9, and the sole defeat in that is the France game in the World Cup. The last time they played Ukraine away from home, so it's a reminder this one is away from home. They ran out 4-0 winners. I mean, worth remembering this is away from home, but it isn't in Ukraine, obviously. It's being played in Poland. And I looked through the Ukraine form, and I looked for the last time Ukraine had a positive result against a genuine top-tier side in international football, and there just aren't any. Certainly not in any competitive games. The best they had a 3-3 versus Germany in a friendly. But in terms of competitive games, the best result you can find from them in recent times is a 1-0 win against Ireland. They had a 1-0 against Scotland in qualifying. But then Scotland went on to knock them out in the qualifiers in the end. I just think in current form, I can take England here to win this and win it by 2 or more. So I'm going with a similar pick to you in the Scotland game. I'm taking England minus 1.5 on a handicap. Plus price, 5-4, plus 125. So that's where I'm going here. England to beat Ukraine by 2 or more at 5-4.
If there's one thing England always do is just win qualifiers as well. That's been their DNA for 20 years. Like Serial likes the Czech Republic team total over 1.5. We're talking about Albania there. Serial is a shrewd operator when it comes to international football. So if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. My second game, Baz, is North Macedonia, who take on Italy on what day do you reckon that is? Saturday.
Just laughing at you, Malcolm, because you've said didn't Busquets retire about 10 years ago? I mean, if you consider him playing in the MLS as being retired, then
does he?
Yes, he's retired. He's playing with Messi now when he had Miami.
Well, that is where good footballers go to die in it, the MLS. So Saturday, quarter to 8 kick-off, North Macedonia 9-1. The draw is 4-1. Italy are minus 300, 3-1 on. So it's just a little bit of turmoil here for Italy. Roberto Mancini nicked off the Italian manager. He went to Saudi, he took over the Saudi national team, who had a decent World Cup. They beat Argentina, if you remember, in the opening game, and has been replaced by Luciano Spalletti. So they've had a poor start as well. They lost at home to England, game you mentioned, Baz. Won 2-0 in Malta, which doesn't do an awful lot. So just a little bit of transition here for Italy. North Macedonia tend to be quite competitive, particularly at home. They beat Malta 2-1. They lost 3-2 at home to Ukraine, and they got humped by England at Wembley, which is fair enough. They've only failed to score at home once in the last 7 games. They beat Italy 1-0 in World Cup qualifying. If you remember, that's the reason Italy were at the last World Cup. North Macedonia had done them in before getting knocked out themselves. But I just think Macedonia can get a goal here. I also think Italy will score. Both teams to score is plus money, Baz, quite considerably. It's 5-4 plus 120. Count me in on that.
Nice. Have you got any more picks in the international?
I've got one, yeah. Do you?
One more. No, you can go next then, and I've got a treble. It's nothing new. It's just from games I've already picked, but I like a treble of my best ones from tonight. But you crack on with your next international game then.
So the Ukraine-England game is they're playing in Poland. Do you know who else is playing in Poland, Baz?
Poland
is the right answer. Yes, 2 points for you, Barry. Poland are playing in Poland. Poland are playing the Faroe Islands. That's fun. Me and Teresa were talking about going to the Faroe Islands just for the crack, just to say you can get. It's not that far away, top end of Scotland, right? Little boat trip. The Faroes occasionally, a few years ago, used to throw in the odd shock, didn't they? They were always fun. The goalie had that little bobble hat that he used to wear, everyone like that. But this edition of the Faroe Islands, see, this is good handicap. Goalie's got a bobble hat, tick. This edition of the Faroe Islands team was struggling a little bit. At home against the Czech Republic, aforementioned, and Albania, they conceded 3 both times. And away in Poland is a much tougher assignment than being at home against Albania. The only issue I've got, Poland haven't been prolific. but this is a good spot for them. And it's a little goal ladder again. Poland over 2.5. So to get the 3 goals that both Czech Republic and Albania got to is 4-5 minus 120. And if you want to go over 3.5, you can get a bit of 2-1, Baz. We'll take a 4-0 Poland win. Over 3.5 is 2-1, Barry.
Yeah, I like it. Don't mind that at all. I'll chuck out my treble then, Malcolm. The best of the lot here. So England handicap. England are going to win minus 1.5, so they'll win by 2 or more. Swindon to score 2 or more. And the Notts County and MK Dons game to go over 2.5. So the pick on that one was over 3.5, but for the treble, I've gone a little bit safer and took over 2.5. So treble, England to win by 2 or more, Swindon to score 2 or more, and Notts County MK Dons over 2.5 goals. That treble pays 11-2 plus 550. And I like all of those as individual picks. So why not treble them up, get them in?
Okay, I like a little bit of that. Serial's complaining that we haven't had any Faroe Islands facts, but I mean, I don't really know much about the Faroe Islands serial, really, apart from like off the top of my head. I know it's a small archipelago of 18 rugged and rocky islands, capital Tórshavn, with the official language of Danish. And it hasn't got a McDonald's. I know that. But I mean, other than that, serial, you blindsided me, so I can't tell you anything else about the Faroe Islands. Baz, anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing else from me. Slick Rick's putting up a Lewandowski hat-trick in that Poland game. You're all over that. So, yes. No, nothing else from me. Lifestyle's all a bit quiet at the moment. Football's back, grassroots.
I have got something I could tell you that if you've got 90 seconds, I can give you a little food thing that I saw on MasterChef last night, Baz. That's right up your street.
Come on.
You'd often deal with a fillet of something, wouldn't you? Last night was a fillet of venison, as in like a proper long, or a loin of pork, that kind of thing, something with a bit of length to it.
Yeah. And
what the man did was lengthways 3 times, and then platted it.
All right.
You know what I mean? Into the middle. Seasoned it to death, rubbed it with whatever he was doing. Obviously, just leave the top bit sort of whole so you can pick it up, and then platted it. And cooked that over the fire. And then obviously it all gets amongst itself. But when you come to cut it, it's then just perfect sort of cube size as well, if you can imagine how that would kind of just fall apart. And it looks great if you serve it on a big board, like a big slate or whatever, this nice plat, serve it on some charred veg or whatever else you're doing. So a bit of platted venison, Baz, or any other loin. How do you feel about that?
Never heard anything of it, like Malcolm, but I'm not averse to it. Like I'm sure it'll cook a bit quicker. It seems little bit of show and no substance, probably. You know, bit of one for the Instagram.
That's me, innit? That's all me, Baz. Show over substance.
Be all over the Instagram with your platted venison.
That's on my family coat of arms. Show over substance. That's
I was barbecuing the other day, Sunday night show on it. I'd come on, I says, Malcolm, give us 5 minutes. I've got to take some chicken off the grill. I had some chicken that hadn't quite got the temperature, and I couldn't start recording until I took that off. We had a bit of a barbecue feast at the weekend, and it looks good. Barbecue weather again this week, so might well be on the agenda.
Yeah, it's been hot as snakes, hasn't it? Right, okay then, Baz. Well, we have yet to decide when we're going to record and what we're going to record next week, because we're very, very well might have nothing to talk about until the pick show. But anyway, we'll let you good people know. If you keep an eye out on YouTube, we'll schedule the show. And we've got loads of winning picks here in the EFL and the international stuff. Thank you very much, Barry. That was fun. Thanks, everyone in the chat. That was just like a little 5 blokes sitting in the pub conversation with Rick and Serial and Josh. Barry full of wine and Captain Insano. It was good. Feel like I've been to the pub for an hour. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy NFL. Oh shit! I've got an NFL pick, Baz.
Get it out there.
So, get it out. We're going to do one of these every week after this wins. I've had my sources, Baz, on good authority, right? Tell me. I'm just getting the prices up now. The total in the Chargers Dolphins game is too high. So the Chargers are traditionally, all the Americans will jump in here and absolutely slam me. The Chargers kind of traditionally get involved in shootouts, don't they? Justin Herbert ends up just throwing it about all over the place, and then they find a remarkable way to lose. But I think they're determined to run the ball, Baz, this year. They're absolutely determined to run it. The starters didn't get much run in pre-season, which means they're going to take a little bit of time to get going. Same with the Dolphins. The total's 51. It's almost again on name recognition, like Tua and Herbert just throwing it about the place. The total's far too high. So the total, the bet is under 51 in the Dolphins at Chargers on Sunday. So there we go. If that goes, this could be the first in a series of one. If it goes, otherwise we're going to keep on going, Baz, until Sean and Ryan have to give us their show because we're 100%, 100% record. So yeah, might be the first in a series of one. Might be the first in 100 consecutive winning NFL bets. Thanks everyone. This time we are going. We'll speak to you next week. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.